Hey Capricorn, welcome to your August 2022 monthly horoscope. I'm Alexander Creek. I'm an astrologer and intuitive. There's a lot to talk about this month, so let's get into it. So, we have a lot going on actually in your fifth house of romance, pleasure, hobby, recreation, creative projects, and children, actually, right at the beginning of the month. So, we have this really unique, really rare alignment between Uranus, the Great Awakener, and the North Node of Fate, along with Mars, which kind of energizes everything right at the beginning of the month. So, backing up a little bit. So, you in 2022 are having a lot of activity between your fifth house of romance, sex, creative projects, children, hobbies, and recreation, and your 11th house of groups, of associations, of casual friends, of people like groups, clubs, networks, things like that, along with your hopes, wishes, and goals for the future. Because the nodes of the moon, these points of fate, are in Taurus and Scorpio right now, and they are falling across your fifth and 11th, your fifth and 11th houses. So, in your 11th house, it's more like we're letting go of things where maybe our interests are not really aligning with friends anymore, or we're changing our friendships, or changing who we associate with, or we're like changing group identity, or maybe changing our hopes, wishes, and goals for the future. The North Node, a point of gain, of new beginnings, of new direction, is in your fifth house. So there's new beginnings for you happening there. And I feel like you would have felt these things more in the springtime. So when we had eclipses along the nodes, where we had eclipses, so supercharged new and full moons, it can kind of bring, left field, faded type activity into our lives, and really kind of disruption also too, because eclipses can really shake things up, and those fall in those houses as well. So just a lot of activity in those areas for you. So and this in part is because Uranus has also been in your fifth house since 2018 as well. So Uranus is disruption, great awakening, and can just be like unusual also too, just like unusual kind of energy, or the energy of the unusual. So there could be like a breaking free or awakening or just unusual energy, or sudden shocking things in the part of your chart that rules romance and sex in your children, or also just dealing with children or your creative projects. It's like, I'm suddenly creative now, or I have no creativity anymore, I'm blocked, or or my kids are just acting like assholes, they're just being crazy, I don't really know why. That can also be one possibility. It could also be, wow, I didn't think I wanted kids, now I do. It could also be like I have sudden new interests, like in hobbies and recreations. I used to love these games, now I hate them, and I like these games now. It could be something like that as well. So this alignment happening in your fifth house, the beginning of the month, is like sudden shocking new beginnings in that area of your chart. So it could be an injection of just excitement into your sex life, into your romantic life. It could be like a sudden new hot kind of thing. It could be that, again, any type of these U-turns that I've talked about, because so like Uranus has been there, you probably felt some of this energy, but you're really going to feel this around this time, because Mars is this planet of action, energy, and heat, and it energizes Uranus. And then we have the North Node getting involved as well. And the North Node is, again, these faded type new beginnings, faded new directions. So that's sudden, shocking new beginnings in this area of your chart. So it's likely to be pretty exciting. So we'll see. And it could be that, I started this new relationship or this new kind of dating thing, it's going this way, and then all of a sudden you find out something that's just completely, it maybe ends or goes in some other direction. The nature of Uranus is unpredictable, but whatever happens, it's for, I think, your highest good. Hopefully, just because, I'm not going to say hopefully, I think whatever happens is sort of like where you're supposed to be going. Okay, so I'm saying to everybody, just let go and release your expectations with this energy, but just know that there's something pretty juicy. So July 31st, August 1st is when that's happening. So August 11th, we have Venus, the planet of pleasure, money, harmony, relationships, values. entering Leo. It's going to enter your 8th house for the rest of the month. So this is going to, if you need to like secure financing or credit, loan, debt, or acquire money or resources that is not yours by like a paycheck, it's more like, other people's money or resources. Venus is going to help you do it because this is, Venus can bring pleasure, or it can bring pleasure, harmony to wherever she is. So this is definitely good for finances. I will say that I feel like you are taking your finances very seriously right now, or there's like a heavy feeling with finances because Saturn is in your 2nd house. Saturn is delays, restrictions, and commitment and lessons. And that's been in your 2nd house of earned income and money and assets since late 2020. So I just feel like they're taking something seriously, lessons, delays, commitments, sometimes heavy kind of adult energy. So Venus will be tempered by that, and but this could still help you relating to finances for the rest of the month. The next day we have a full moon in your 2nd house, so definitely a feeling of serious commitment type lessons energy relating to your finances. Maybe you're taking some sort of big financial step, or maybe there's this big decision that you're thinking about with finances, or something culminating or completing some sort of event with finances coming up around August 12th. There's a feeling of maybe impatience too, just because, or maybe I'd say maybe some impatience with this full moon. It's a tense full moon for sure, because this full moon is squaring those planets in Taurus in your 5th house. So it could be that perhaps we like want to do something fun and spend some money on ourselves or something, but maybe we're looking at our budget like we really need to be realistic. Like there's this kind of conflict between those things. Or you're like, okay, or it could be that I'm really planning like on doing, on spending money on myself or something like that, or taking a commitment. Or it could be that a child is costing you money. So I feel like that's probably true for a lot of people. But it could be that we're making a serious financial commitment. It's around children. So there's an interplay between these two things. But I feel serious financial energy around that time. August 20th. We have Mars on the planet of action and energy going into Gemini. The reason why this is significant because it's going to Gemini for several months. Mars usually goes into a planet or into a sign for about 2 months. This is going into Gemini for like 7 months. I said 9 months previous videos and I can't do math apparently, but it's going into Gemini from August 20th until mid-March. So there's a lot of you're going to be feeling a lot of motivation and action in your 6th house of health, bodily health, and work. So this could be anything from, I'm seeking extra work, I'm seeking another gig, I want to get back to work. It could also be that I am entering more into conflict with coworkers at this time too, or really kind of, I'm not putting up with any shit because Mars is also conflict, and it can be where you have conflict. But there's a lot of action, energy, and heat around this. Also, bodily health. So you could be working on your health. It could be working on your bodily health, your exercise routine, diet, health, all that kind of stuff. It is more bodily health versus like, mind, more like mental health. It's more bodily stuff. It could also be that health things kind of get inflamed too, just depending on your chart really. But I see you really working on health, or just a lot of health work things come up with Mars here. But it could honestly be just like I'm establishing new health routines. It could be something as simple as that. But with Mars being there for as long as it is, it could be, some type of conflict thing is likely to come up. The thing with Mars, though, too, is like Mars separates and cuts. So if something is not good for you in work and in health, you're going to work to cut it out or to separate from it, essentially. So that will be there from August 20th until mid-March. And we'll talk more about that in later videos. So August 24th, Uranus is going to station retrograde in your 5th house. Uranus is a great awakener, and you're gonna probably be looking around the 24th, 25th, 23rd, around there. When an outer planet like Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, those stations, when it stops moving in the sky and then starts moving backwards or forwards, that is when we really feel those retrogrades the most. So you're gonna really feel the I'm like reflecting, I'm reviewing, I'm going back over things relating to dating, romance, sex, pleasure, children, creative projects, hobbies, recreation around that time. And after that, things might kind of settle down as far as like these upheavals. August 27th, we have a new moon. So, new beginning, a reset, new energy in your ninth house. And this is, this could be anything from, I'm going to start like a new higher education class, or I'm really interested in my beliefs in spirituality, or something metaphysical like astrology, or that you're planning a trip, that you become interested in foreign travel or faraway places, or anything with mind expansion and spirituality. So definitely good stuff there. That feels like a pretty motivated new moon. You might even be a new class connected to work or health, because that new moon is going to square Mars in your sixth house. So this feels very motivated, very action forward. It's a little more prone to conflict, I'll say, with this new moon too, because it's very spicy. It's a spicy new moon in Virgo. But there's a connection with this new moon between ninth house of higher education, spirituality, and also broadcasting and publishing. Anything publishing or getting something out into the world, or broadcasting. Let's say you start a YouTube channel, very much a ninth house matter, or third house matter, but I put it more in the ninth house. So again, definitely a focus there, with possibly just like a really action kind of feeling new moon, and like potential for a little bit of conflict as well too, I will say, just because that Mars is very, very active around that time. So hope you enjoyed your forecast. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll be putting these out every month. Leave a comment, talk about like, hey, this is what resonated with me, this is what's going on in my life. I will say I have a Patreon that I'm launching as well right now. So if you want weekly astrological guidance, I'm going to do weekly forecasts with like the major aspects of the week. I'm going to do 2 live streams a month on the around the new and full moon, about new and full moon and how it impacts your specific birth chart. You can ask me questions about your own chart, and I can and I'll do mini readings for my patrons then. Also, I'm going to do personalized monthly forecasts, and I'll be sending those out to your inbox every month. That, again, will be on my Patreon. So if you're interested, go check it out. I'll put the link in the comments below. And thanks again, and I hope you have a fantastic August.